people, welcome back to my YouTube. It's your girl Honey. I've just come back in from the gym and I am absolutely exhausted. It's like, I think 4 o'clock in the morning. I've got to get this video out. It's Mother's Day today, so it needs to be done. So today we're doing Pluto in the 4th house at last, because a lot of you have been leaving comments saying, where's Pluto in the 4th house? Where's the 4th house Pluto? Well, let me just clarify a few things for you guys, okay? I will be delivering videos whenever. Nothing is ever going to be in order. It's just going to come out. So I am in the middle of doing the Pluto series. Your video will always come. But when you keep on pestering, I'm going to take even longer, okay? So we are finally here, Pluto in the 4th house. Pluto is a malefic, okay? Whatever house it falls into, it tends to bring trauma, crisis, or problems. Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. Scorpio is home to the 8th house. 8th house represents intimacy, sex, death, rebirth, other people's resources, joint finances, occult, taboo subjects, inheritance. It's a very intense house. 4th house is home to Cancer. Cancer rules the moon. The 4th house represents your mother, your home, your security, your foundation. It's a very important house. When people have planets in this house, it becomes very, very intense, all right? And when Pluto falls into this house, it creates a trauma. I'm from the Pluto in Scorpio generation, like I've always said, all right? Most people who have Pluto in the 4th house around me will have Leo risings. Leo energy, period, tends to be this thing where they are constantly happy. You know, they're performing and they're making sure everyone, you know, is watching them be happy in this bubbly energy. Comes your rising. Your rising is your mask to the world. Once you leave your house in the morning to go to work, you put on this energy, which is your rising. Leo risings have to work twice as hard, I feel, because your 4th house is Scorpio. Your 4th house has got Pluto in there in Scorpio. And that's an indication that you have got a lot of shit going on at home. You walk out the house and you've got to portray yourself to be this happy person, and you're not really happy, but you have to portray this to the world because you don't want anyone to know what's going on at home. It's all private and it's all personal. It's a secret in some cases. And this is what happens when Pluto falls into the 4th house. Leo risings have to always have a smile on their face, have to always perform and act as though everything is fine, because that's what Leo people do. They don't like negativity. The 4th house represents the mother, okay? There's going to bring some type of unstable relationship with her. Sometimes I like to look at the Mars, right? Mars in Cancer, very, very difficult placement. Cancer Mars can also contribute to having issues with the mother, okay? And when you have Mars square Pluto, opposite Pluto, this can also indicate a violent home. And we all know that Pluto is very sexual energy, right? People that do have it, some people that do have Pluto in this house could have experienced some type of sexual abuse, which is unfortunate. Not everyone can relate to that. There was some person that I spoke to and she said that she cannot remember her childhood whatsoever. It's a complete blur, but she feels deeply that it was traumatic for her, but she just can't remember things. And it's weird. I can't imagine not being able to remember my childhood. That's very unfortunate. And some people feel this way when Pluto comes into the 4th house. It's all just a blur. Now with the sexual abuse, right, because this is the house of the mother, secret, some people have experienced it, and sometimes the mother knows about it. Sometimes you may have even told your mother that this happened to you. This may have even happened inside your home. This may even have been a family member inside your home, a family friend, and you told your mum about it, and your mum has reacted. She may or may not have reacted, but it's a secret that's a family secret. You hear about these things all the time, and as we are in Jupiter Scorpio season right now, a lot of stories are coming to surface. But you hear about this a lot, and some people don't like to go to authorities, don't like to report their family members as being pedophiles, sexual abusers, you name it. And what I found is, some people that have this placement end up experiencing this unfortunate event in their lives, and they're never quite able to talk about it. They're never able to really say, this happened to me, because their mother has kept it a secret, or their mother doesn't want it to be out. And this is not everyone's destiny, but Pluto being here contributes to family secrets, abuse at times, secrets with the mother. It's a very deep place to have Pluto. And this is where you're almost forced to have to grow up early. You know, your childhood just wasn't that great, and you're forced to have to mature and grow up before you actually need to. And sometimes people may ask you, God, how are you so mature for your age? And your response is, and in your mind, you're like, God, it's the traumas. It's the traumas that have made me so mature, because people are forced to have to mature early with this placement. Sometimes when the sun and the moon fall into this house, sometimes some people may have experienced a parent that may have possibly passed away, or that parent is completely not involved in that person's life, or they have experienced foster care, social care, adoption. This is where a lot of your transformation in your life is going to happen. Your parents not around. It's a crisis situation. You've got to now mature. You've got to now start taking care of yourself. Especially if sun or moon is in here, you naturally become more domesticated. You have to look after yourself. You've got to learn to cook, to clean, to feed yourself, to do your washing, to do adult things that you wouldn't necessarily normally do, that your friends wouldn't really be doing. You're forced to mature before everyone else, especially if you've got Saturn, Neptune, Uranus all squaring your moon. Pluto in this house can also contribute to a family that is in power, or has come from all that has come from power. I read this guy's chart last week, and I think he was a Cancer rising, but he had Pluto in his 4th house, right? And moon in the 5th, I think, yeah. And he said to me that, well, he's a Pakistani guy, and he said that his family are very well respected, and no one knows that his parents are separated. No one knows. He hates his mother. His father is seen as a pushover because his father just doesn't have a backbone. This is what he's told me. And he said if his community knew that his parents were separated, they would be absolutely livid. This is also seen as a secret within the family. Pluto being here can also contribute to you inheriting property, land, especially as this guy was telling me, you know, that he comes from a well-respected family, okay, in his community, and he's in line to inherit properties. Now, he told me a lot, right? And he mentioned that there is land in Pakistan that he's in line to inherit. And he told me that the way that the land was acquired was in an illegal type of way. And he's very worried about receiving this land, because if he receives it, it may be taken away. And this is exactly what Pluto in this house can do. Pluto can allow you to inherit from other people, because Pluto is from the house of inheritance, which is the 8th house. 4th house represents home, properties, land. Pluto being here can provide you with the means to have things, right? Nice things, homes, properties, lands. However, it can also take things away from you, because let's not forget, it's a crisis planet and it creates traumas. And he's worried that if he receives this piece of land, he will lose it over a period of time because of how he's being given the land. It's not in a fair type of way. Pluto can take things away from you, and including your home, you know, and this isn't everyone's destiny, okay? Some people live in comfortable homes and stuff with Pluto in this house, but for some other people, you know, their homes can be taken away from them and they can experience homelessness, live on the streets for a very, very long time. I think transits kind of contribute to that as well. When it comes to their partner, they similar to the 8th house in a sense, where you kind of feel like having sex is your safety net. It becomes like a means of security for you. And Pluto represents sex, sexuality, all right? And you having sex with your partner at home can make you feel, oh, this is nurturing for me. This is what makes me feel like I'm at home. These people can confuse sex and intimacy with a feeling of nurturing because there was a lack of that at home whilst growing up. So overall, Pluto is very difficult in the 4th house, especially if you have outer planets in there as well, aspecting to your Pluto. It creates a lot of trauma. The good thing is about Pluto being here, especially if it's in Scorpio, right? It makes you someone who, because you've experienced such a lack of nurturing in the home, you grow up and you want to create your own home. You want to have your own family unit, your own front door key. You know, the little things mean a lot to you. And the way that you would raise your kids in your household would be completely different to how your mother raised you, because you learned, or you should be learning, you learned from your mother how not to treat your children. So it's a good placement if you're learning with your Pluto. And people tend to have more of a focus, a home focus. You know, some people don't really care about where they live at the moment. You know, I'll stay at my mum's house and I'll just go and do my own thing everywhere. And, you know, I'll just live in a shit environment and I'll leave my clothes everywhere. I won't flush the toilet. You know, I won't value my home. Pluto 4th house people really want to value their home because they haven't experienced that, and they want to make sure that their house is tidy, and they want to make sure that they have a very comfortable home that they can call, a very comfortable house that they can call a home. Sometimes 4th house Pluto people may get this feeling of a new home, a fresh start, comfortability, once they move out of the town in which they were raised in, okay? Out of the area, away from their family, away from their parents. Start fresh, because it just makes them feel like it makes them feel further away from what they knew to be a home, you know? So there's good things and there's bad things about Pluto in this house. It all depends on how you learn to work with it. If you are in line to inherit anything, just ensure that it is legitimate, have checks and stuff. You don't want to be losing anything that you inherit. You know, it's a gift, isn't it? So you want to make sure that you keep it, and it's a very expensive gift. If it's land or if it's property, it's expensive, right? So anyway, that is my video on Pluto in the 4th house. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it. I will see you on the next one, people. Take care.